Hi, I'm Michael Joy. Welcome back to another Hand-ufacturing.
Cut!
Oh, it's vacation. Is why we're the only ones working today. What the hell? Welcome back to another Hand-ufacturing video. I'm Michael Joy. Today we're in our theater here on the first floor. It's a nice space. We don't use it as often as we should, but it's because this room is full of surprises, as are some of our videos. And I would say to the high-tech mold makers and model makers out there, if you're only choosing to watch the videos that are machine-centric or something, you might be missing out on some real secret gems that we have tucked away into our lower tech videos. In our low tech videos, we're starting to migrate in business stories and some other sort of interesting assets from the past and things related to fabrication in general. So if you're business-minded, these videos, our low-tech ones, might be very interesting to you because our reaction videos are going to be migrating into how-to videos. And if you don't watch these, you might miss some cues. So let's, even though none of us are probably going to make a 30-foot Ganesh, let's see what these guys are doing. There's always a philosophy involved. You ready, Posh? Okay, here we go. We should play music like that when we work. You can tell which guys work the most. Look at their clothes. You got the office manager in yellow, and you got the guys who do shit to the left of him. Yeah, it's weird without audio though. All right, so what's happening here is they're just jumping around to do some sexy stuff, and they're building the internal skeleton of what's going to be the casting, because the castings, although it's thick for this size, it has to be like a little skyscraper in there. Looks like they've prefabbed some pieces. This is the back. It's plaster and hemp or sisal. It's not fiberglass. The mold looks like fiberglass. Yeah, these guys are just like super skilled climbing monkeys that never fall. What do we got? It's so funny they want this low tech. So when you're working with a team, it's a great luxury. Large scale work demands that you have a team. The large scale work that I did, I didn't have what was a team. It was me and someone else. And I'll tell you what, it is exhausting. Whether you're working on ladders or scaffolding, you need people to help you mix up the supplies. I showed up on a job site one time in a high-rise downtown Chicago, and we were remodeling a section of the ceiling. My job was to take a mold, and I brought my buddy David with me, but the minute he came in the site to help me make the molds, the general contractor, whoever was in charge, says he can't be in there because of the way my insurance was structured. And it was a terrible blow because that meant that I had to do the job myself. Down the scaffolding, mix the mix, go up the scaffolding with the bucket and make the mold. It was exhausting. I should have walked away from the site at that point, but I was hungry. You know, I needed the money. All right, so these guys have this mold set up. What you're looking at is the front of this, of course, and the structural supports are just wood. And wood is not the ideal thing, but it's what they have, so no problem. Wait, they did the casting already? What video is this? Well, I guess we go through it fast.
You skipped through a little bit, I think.
So here's what happened in the 80 hours that we didn't see. Basically, they took the slow motion guy mixing hand in plaster and handing it up and figured that's going to happen 10 or 12,000 times. Why do we need to show it? But what's interesting to show is the time lapse of the amount of crawling around that happens. Because these guys are basically rock climbing Ganesh climbers that get in here and do this. And somebody has to have the whole orientation of the project from the beginning to the end. There's a lot of people that can mix and apply, and they're just, in a sense, they're just laying the bricks, but they're not the architects of the building. And so I guess they spared us this. I don't know what it costs to move 20 guys for a week or two in India, if this is India. It looks like their shop does a lot of these big castings. And I'm always curious so what he's doing is he's pulling off the multiple, what I'll call plugs. They're basically pieces that go into all the undercuts of the Ganesh, and the big mold section goes over them. And they have to be flexible in order to get these off, otherwise they would never release. You can see him flexing this fiberglass. I'm always curious in the psychological dynamics inside of a shop. I've never been in a shop where there's 20 guys crawling around something and it's just a different culture of hierarchy. I can't tell by looking who is really caring the most. Because in a group with this many employees, it's a strange dynamic. You know, how do you decide who's the best, or is somebody the best at one thing and they're okay with it? Is somebody the best at mixing plaster and then the plaster guy's somewhere else? Do they move through like construction crews? Like this could just be the unmolding crew and all the other guys are working on other molds right now. I just don't know. But you can see that latex. I mean, they're just yoinking on it.
Is it basically just silicone?
No, this is latex.
So there's a difference?
Yeah. Latex is natural rubber from the rubber tree. And basically, in the most simplest terms, you paint on the layer like paint. It doesn't go on very thick, and you let it dry, and then another layer, and you might have 20 or 30 layers of paint, of latex, and it bonds with itself, and you end up with this very strong inner tube-like material. It will tear, but this is a lot of natural rubber. Silicone would be way too expensive. The reason they're using the latex is probably it's available, readily available, and also it is affordable, and also it's simple. The latex, you can just use it. As long as you keep a lid on the bucket, you can just use it. It's not requiring any mixing, any catalyst. It's just brush, weight, brush, weight, brush, weight. All of these openings that you see here are going to be connection points for other arms, trunks, and things like this that are being cast in other molds.
I was going to say they're missing parts, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. You can see.
How do you connect it?
They'll connect it with plaster.
And it'll be a strong hold, just fine?
Yes. If you have, let me get this out of here. As this guy's tugging on the mold, this is the issue that mold makers and demolders can have some arguments if they're not the same person. The demolder is thinking, oh, I just got to get this thing off of here. The mold maker is like, hey man, I spent 2 weeks getting latex on there. So I'm trying to figure out who has the ownership in a project like this. It's really quite a collaboration. They're just moving it with pry bars. It looks like they have small car jacks. Man, that sucker could go over.
It's very flimsy. As in, like...
It probably weighs a couple thousand pounds at this point.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
No way. It's hollow.
It's hollow, but it's like this thick.
I don't know.
You know what a little piece of plaster like that weighs.
Yeah. I don't think it's as thick as you think. It certainly seems maybe 1/8 of an inch thick.
Oh, no, it's way more than that.
You think so?
Yeah, it's a couple inches thick.
No
in
way.
most areas. Yeah. Otherwise, it won't support, I mean, they have internal structure, but it has to not take any hits, nicks, or dings when it gets moved around. So probably the base is stronger, and as you get to the top, it's probably a little bit thinner. I don't know.
From the connecting points, you can kind of see that I feel like it's thinner.
You'll have to zoom in on those.
Yeah.
Everything that is a large scale is magnified. Look at this, we have 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 guys. Now, not everybody's there doing something, but you got to have some guys that are ready. Oftentimes on a job site, if you only have the exact number of people that it takes to do something, you have nobody that can run and get help.
Yeah.
This is it. We don't get to see the whole thing? Damn it, I think we chose the wrong video. To me, that was terribly uninteresting. I don't know that we need to do a lot with that one. They skipped everything. This is just like a PR piece. So in closing, what I would like to say is the business aspect of this, and we brushed through this video really fast. Pasha cut the H out of it. The business aspect is this, is who specializes in what and who's watching who, because when you have designated people and designated tasks, the care doesn't always translate. Like you saw in the beginning, there was a bunch of people that were involved, but then it thinned out into, oh, we're just unmolding it and they move on to the next project. So in your shop, if you're the shop owner and you don't communicate clearly between departments, you can really be in a middle of a fire there, because the people that just yanked off that latex don't know how to fix the latex. And what accountability do they have? So if accountability is not in place, you're gonna have a lot of careless workers around you. And I know that not a lot of people are making this kind of thing, but it's just a magnified example of how to get people to care. What's their incentive for caring? And I think in general, if you provide a beautiful work environment that is considerate, calm, and safe, people want to work there. And that's their incentive, is to contribute to being a part of something great, not a part of being the minimum that can be taken out of the shop. It's like, well, I don't care. That Ganesh goes out, we're gonna paint it anyways. So, or maybe they have a spiritual connection to the statue that they're making. I don't know, it's across the world. We'd have to make a long distance call. That's what I got. In Africa, they fed me zebra.
Damn! Is mole. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it.
Jesus. There was 2 cats, stray cats that got in our house. We took them in.
You hate cats?
We did not eat the cats.
We did not eat the cat.
We did take in the cats.
It was very chewy. They also brought out oxtail soup, and I thought that that was just the name, but it was actually oxtail soup. And then I understood these big bony things floating. I didn't remember it because it was great. I just remembered it because it was freakishly unusual. And then I was worried they were going to serve us giraffe next. I was like, I got to get out of this place.
They have a different version. It's a green mole and a red mole. I like the green one. It just reminds me of, like, I guess my childhood. I would always ask for every birthday. Just reminds me of my birthday. My mom always makes it.